Today we're heading out to Nunavut, our shortest runway that we currently go to here in Papua New Guinea. I think right around 300 meters long, 10% slope going up, but you actually land downhill. Kind of interesting. Today though, we are going out with the helicopter. It's going out before me, and we're gonna do some filming today for like a promotional video for our mission organization. I will probably post a link down whenever it gets posted so you guys can see a little bit more about what it is that we do. So the helicopter, Josh, and the film crews are heading out that way. I'm heading out about 25 minutes after them. So I'm ready to go. I wasn't even planning on filming today, but let's jump in after the helicopter goes and go on a 30-minute flight.
Okay, I've got to take off in 3 minutes to be right on time, so let's get going. Energy's coming up, oil pressure's coming in nice and quick because it's cold. Over 14%, we'll introduce our low idle. Basically like this is turning the key for an airplane. Energy is coming up normal, past 35%, so looking at ITT now, making sure it doesn't get up too high. Okay, we've got 770 pounds of fuel on board, 6 seats. I'm going up by myself. We're doing filming today, so I'm not taking anybody. The helicopter took all of the passengers and the film crew. So we've got probably about, I don't know, 15 kgs of some camera gear and stuff like that underneath. Hit depart, 1 POB, 11,000. We're going to go ahead and hit send, and my takeoff rotate is 54. Garoka Tower, good morning. November Tango Kilo, request taxi Nunavut 1 POV.
November Tango Kilo, Garoka Tower, good morning. Taxi to runway 17 left, stand up, track and line up. Finish light and variable QNH 1023, time check 39.5.
1023, clear to backtrack, line up 17 left, November 10 Kilo. Weather looks beautiful going out there and being beautiful all day long. The only thing that I'd be concerned about out there is staying on the ground for 3-4 hours. Is the winds pick up there, making it difficult to take off with a strong tailwind and only 300 meters long. Pose some issues about getting off the ground in time. But I am empty, and I think I might be bringing the film crew back, maybe with me, I'm not 100% sure, so we will see. And if you guys want to see some on-the-ground exclusive content, stay to the end of this video. I am going to be walking around because I'm going to have a few hours. I'd love to show you guys around the village there so you guys can see a little bit of the culture out there. November 10 Kilo, ready for departure.
November Tango Kilo and visual traffic, Papa Hotel Tango. Helicopter departing Garoka for Kumin mine operation, time 33, not above 10,000. Check at Kumin mine, time 54. 17 left and clear for takeoff.
Copy traffic, 17 left turn, clear for takeoff, November Tango Kilo. Alright, overspeed governor check, then we'll roll. So, 1390, rotate 54. Work is set, airspeed's alive, runway is clear. 50 continuing, and rotate. Bump up our ITT just a tiny bit. Over 85 we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. Over 95 we'll go 0 today. Looking out at the clouds so I can kind of determine how I'm going to get out of the valley. Looks like there's maybe just a little bit of clouds, maybe at like 7,000, but clear above with a high overcast. I'm going to prop on back to 2,000 RPM. Start a nice shallow left-hand turn. Head back over to our flight span app. This will tell me my departure time, my arrival time, and everything I need to tell the tower. Garoka Tower, November Tango Kilo, departed time 42, tracking 089er on climb 1000, estimating Nunavut 13. It will remain OCTA and heads up.
November Tango Kilo on climb 1000, Roger. Remaining outside nudge of control area, 15 miles, contact Mosby, 123.9er, HF 8861, no contact 5565.
123.9er, 8861, 5565 at 15, November Tango Kilo. Okay, 8861. 5565. So that's my HF radio frequencies, and my VHF is 1239er. So if I can't get a hold of them there, then I just start working down and then eventually through this whole list right here. So our engine inlet back to normal, our igniter's turned off, and get our ITT right around 720 for the climb out of here. That's going to give us our best performance. I'm in no hurry, so I'm just going to trim it out for around 110, 115 knots today. Like I said, it's just an absolute gorgeous day, so we should have no issues getting out there. And it's going to be a really fun, exciting landing. This is probably one of my favorite places to go to, just because it is a challenging airstrip, but not only that, it has incredible views out there. The chime lets me know I'm 200 feet to go, so vertical speed and altitude select. My autopilot now it's just going to go ahead and level me off right at 11,000 all by itself. I'm going to let my speeds get up about 130 knots before I'm going to reduce my power. So right about 128, 129, we'll start pulling the power lever here, looking at the torque, the top number, and we're going to bring it all the way back. And once I see 1270, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to go a little bit of left-hand rudder pressure. And after it was 1270, it kind of settles down. I'm going to let it sit there for about 10-15 seconds before I make any other adjustments. It's down to 1260 and kind of bouncing back and forth between 1250. A couple more adjustments on the rudder trim. There we go. Haven't even touched it yet, and it's sitting nice and steady at 1250. So let's call up Moresby 1239er first. Moresby 123.9er, November Tango Kilo, transfer.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby, good.
Good morning, November Tango Kilo, 15 miles to the east of Goroka, maintaining 1000. Estimating denugget time 14. Will remain OCTA, NetZap.
November Tango Kilo, 1000, OCTA, no reported traffic. Area QNH 1010.
1010, November Tango Kilo. Kilo Alpha 2 Company. 132.2. Is our helicopter? Morning.
Morning. Hey, I'm looking like my my estimate's going to be like 06 to 07.
Okay, I am estimate 14, but by the time I get around and do my full circuit, it's going to be another 3 minutes past that, so 17 probably.
All right, copy that. Yeah, it's just as a headwind, 16 knots there for a little bit, so.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I'm on the ground, I'll turn these guys loose to do whatever they're going to do. So if I need you to hold for a minute over, before you begin your approach, is that all right?
That's fine. I'll just be standing by on this frequency, and I've already briefed the guys flying drones, stuff like that, so they've already been talked about.
Okay, good. Thanks.
So what this video here that these guys are going to be shooting, and they have been shooting over the past week, kind of just around our operations and stuff, is really kind of trying to show why we are here. What I do here as a missionary pilot, I really don't go into that very much here on this channel because I'm trying to keep it as aviation centered as I can, but we are actually here for a bigger purpose with eternal value, I really do believe. And that's what this video is wanting to portray, that these guys are putting together for our organization, is just sharing the heart on why we actually fly here in Papua New Guinea. It's not because I love flying in New Guinea. It's not because I love living in New Guinea, anything like that. So I'd encourage you guys, I will try to remember to put the link down below whenever it does get released so that you guys can see, even my heart, I think I'm going to be interviewed out here as well on why I do what I do here. I feel it's a very big privilege not only to do what we do here, but also to be able to share it with you guys, share a passion that I do have, and get you guys to see a little bit of behind the scenes on what it's like to be a bush pilot here in another country. Well, while we are just sitting here, let's go over the strip chart the airstrip chart as we get ready to come in. I'm going to make sure that it says Denunget at the top. It's 398 meters, so I misspoke. I thought it was 300 meters. We do have another one that is 300 meters. We don't go to anymore. So this is 400 meters long, so about 4 soccer fields long. And it's a 1% downslope on touchdown. So it's a really odd place to begin learning how to touch down differently. Typically, you're going to pull the power, you're going to flare. This one, you just don't flare at all. You fly to the end of the runway, you fly over the end of the runway, you go idle, flaps up, and then you just kind of hold the yoke, and you don't do anything. And as the flaps are retracting, it's losing lift, and you kind of just settle onto the runway. That's how I found works the best, that I feel like, out of this place. Not everybody uses my technique, but that's what I do. And it allows me to, for sure, get on the ground no matter what, and not have any floating or anything like that, because once you get the flaps out, you are going to touch down on the ground very soon, because it's only 7 seconds for the full retraction of the flaps. We're going to come over the top of the field at 6,300 feet. So touchdown's only 4,900, but we've got to get over this mountain range right behind the mountains, right behind the airstrip, I should say, to enter into my circuit. I fly a really big wide circuit here to give myself some time and space to really prepare myself and kind of get all my numbers set in properly so that I'm not in a rush. The go around is fairly early on. I turn final at 5,400, at 5,300, so basically wings level in a couple extra seconds. I've got to make a determination, am I set up for a safe approach all the way in? Because at that point, the cameras aren't going to show you this, but at that point on, I do not have enough space to get out of the valley safely. I do not have enough power to outclimb anything. So at that point, when I say I'm committed, I am committed. I am 1,000% landing no matter what. Anything comes out on the runway, I'm going to hope that they get out of the way before I touch down. You can see the profile, slight downslope, all the way down to about 120 meters in, and then it kind of gradually goes back up to an 11% slope. And there's a picture of what it looks like. Really cool place. As you guys can see here, I'm tracking my flight here. I've got over 100 flights on my Patreon page if you guys are interested in learning how to not only fly the Kodiak. I do have a flight sim course if you don't know how to do anything flying wise or you want to learn how to Kodiak. But I also have a bunch of these flights on my Patreon page that you guys can recreate, and with the charts and the weather, and it links with a video so that you can follow along with the video and experience PNG from your home. It's a little bit cheaper than doing it in real life, that's for sure. Looking ahead, the whole Ramu Valley is beautiful. We've got a couple clouds just on the mountaintops, but it's a nice high overcast. Weather's going to be beautiful all day out here. That's not the issue. Winds look like they're going to be pretty low today. But it doesn't take much to mess up getting out of there if we do have a lot of weight. I don't think they're going to have much coffee, maybe a bag or two at most, the local people. It's just raw coffee that we're going to send out to Goroka, sell for them, and then bring their money back to help them out. Because to hike it out of a location like this, just without a bag, 50 kg bag, I think it's like a 2-day hike to the nearest road that they can get down to Leh and Nadzab to sell it. But to carry a 110-pound bag over your shoulder, yeah, right, it's just not feasible.
November Tango Kilo, most free traffic is around for Mike. Britain Norman Islander, taxiing tap for Nadzab, 9,000 on departure.
Copy, Sierra Alpha, Mike, November Kilo. So just for your reference, there is Tap and Nadzab is there. So he's going to be flying directly over top of Denunget because the valley goes like that. 900,000, so he'll be heading out. And he is an Islander, a little piston twin engine. So for us to stay out of Nadzab's airspace, which are all these blocks right here, and if we click on the first box, it shows right up here, 13,000 feet is where it starts. We're only at 11 now. But if we slide on here to the next box, it starts at 10,000. What I always do is once I pass this line, that's my indication I need to start going down. Looking ahead though, we've got some clouds. We've got our mountain tops, we've got to get over top of those right around 9,000 to 9,300 feet, I think. So we're just gonna go on down, set our heading bug right here, correction our altitude bug, and we're gonna go down to 9,600 feet. And on the autopilot, vertical speed, we're gonna go on down at maybe 300 feet per minute, and hit the altitude select as well while we're holding the vertical speed. And that will level us off at 9,600 feet, whatever we just put in there. You can see that little cyan mark right there. That's when we're going to get to that altitude. So just before we go into their airspace. Okay, so Sierra Alpha Mike, he is about right here right now. Josh in the helicopter is just approaching the circuit. If we come back over here to flight span, it's going to show me my runway orientation of runway 11. Hit OBS down here. Runway 110. It's a line right there. Oops, I need to turn my autopilot back to heading mode so it doesn't want to go try to find that line. That way, in this circuit particularly, when I'm on downwind base all the way to where I'm almost turning final, I cannot even see the runway. So having something like this to know that I'm parallel with it, how far away I am from it, is very handy. Alright, the runway's kind of like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come way out here, around the mountain, around, and then come in like so. All stations, D-Nugget 123.9 Kodiak November Tango Kilo 10 miles to the west, 9,600. Circuit time 14 D-Nugget. Now if we hit landing performance here, it says our VREF is 62 knots. So we'll set up our VREF at 62 knots, that's just a visual representation. It will also put a little tag over here. I'm not trying to think of what the correct terminology is, but I don't ever notice that. I just look at my number. Let's start up our buddy check here. Our fuel selectors and brakes feel good. We'll turn our TAWs off. We've got our VREF set up. Our lights and inlets. We'll do lights and inlets. If we have to go around 5,300 feet, power up 20 degrees, hard right hand turn out all the way back around, which you guys can see on the chart. Prop and harness. Harnesses we'll get here in a minute. We'll get prop as we start our way down. Let's go ahead and head on down to 6,300 feet.
And Kilo Alpha, we're on the ground.
All right, I'll be there overhead 2 minutes, still 6 miles to run. That'll give them 5 minutes before touchdown. If you want me to slow on down, let me know.
All right, yeah, I think that should be enough for them. Windsock's hanging pretty much limp.
Okay, I'll be standing by on this frequency.
Sounds good.
I'm actually going to slow on down because 5 minutes to get your drone out, get it all set up, turned on, fly to where you want to go. It's not really enough time, I don't think. 10 degrees of flaps. Moore's Beard 861, November Tango Kilo in the circuit Dinunget. Cancel, SAR.
November Tango Kilo, Dinunget, search terminated.
November Tango Kilo. I'm canceling just because Josh is already on the ground. And if I were to have an issue, I'm already in communication with him, so I don't need to try to struggle to get a hold of Moresby later. Went 62 on final, 72 on base, 82 on downwind once we're beam the numbers. All stations, D-Nugget 1239 November Tango Kilo overhead will be joining the circuit, D-Nugget.
Hey, they say they're ready, so you can just enter the circuit like normal.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Alright, I am probably 700 feet higher than I normally am. I'm usually directly over top of this ridgeline right here, but we're going really slow, 700 feet under descent. We want to be 5,900 feet once we're beam the end of the runway right over there. Turning final 5,400. And one thing I can do, which is really handy actually, is if I set this up here to 5,400, it will say minimums once I get to my turning final in case I get below it. There we go. It's a trick of the trade for you guys. Josh is the one who told me to do that, actually. Getting to the second little hump right there, just on the right side of that is where I'm going to go. And about that area is right around where my beam the numbers where I want to be 5,900 feet. 300 yet to go. So let's go ahead and slow on down a little more. We want 82 knots, so I'm going to pull my power. That's going to slow me down. Up forward, harness is done. We've got flaps to go, and then our checklist is complete. There's holding our 82 with our power. We've got 3 knots of wind from the right. We're going to drop about 200 right here, so we're going to turn 5,600 base. Here's our 5,600. Turning base here at the river and slowing to 72, so just pull my power ever so slightly out. Ever so slightly go down to 5,400. Still don't see the runway. Okay, flaps to go. Slowing on down to 72. We're almost at 5,400. Still don't see the runway. Now I see the runway. Just about ready to turn final. We're right at 72, 5420. The full flaps checklist is complete. Start pulling the power very slightly. The flaps are going to slow me down.
Minimums.
There we go. 62 knots is what I'm shooting for final. Not even wings level, I'm at 5,300 feet. So, turn a little bit early. Let's get over to center line first. There we go. On to 62 knots. Winds are negligible. We are committed. Three knots fast, slowing down. Still 3 knots fast, pull more power.
500.
550 on the descent, that's perfect. There's our 62 knots, kind of bouncing around a little bit.
500.
We're 50 on the descent. Now, stay tuned to the end. We're going to do a quick walk around of the village for you guys.
So this airstrip, I believe, was built back in the 80s so that they could not only get a school here down there, a government-run school, but also so they could get their coffee out of here. They grow coffee up in these mountains here, send it into Nadzab and sell it, and that's how they can make a little bit of extra money. So all these little tables over here are for their market. I'm assuming they usually do market like 1 day a week or something. And this is just for their whole village. And they'll set up all their veggies, things like that on these. These are all just bamboo wood construction with a few nails. And then let me just go show you their houses. These ones, I don't know if these are actually houses that they're living in or maybe just storage. I think they might just be storage, because I know that we keep some drums of fuel, I think in this one, And this one, it looks like the roof is pretty worn out and stuff, but this is just called pit, the side stuff. It's just, I don't know, I don't see any right here, but it's like bamboo and they flatten it out. It's pretty thin and then just weave it together. The grass is like, I think it's like, I don't know if it's this type of grass, the kunai grass. Not sure what type it is, but that's what they use. These typically last about 5 years before they have to rebuild them. We're gonna be out here for a little bit. I'm hearing a little tiny waterfall down here. I've actually never explored here. It's gonna be a couple hours for me before they need me, so I'm just gonna walk on down here. Morning. Amigo dam lo kim desla water karab. Wow, yeah, this is really pretty here. Really slippery though. Well, it's just a really small little waterfall coming on. It's more of a stream going down. But I do know that the missionaries use this full-time feed of water, and that runs, it's like hydroelectricity for their homes up here. So they have full-time power. They don't have to have solar panels, things like that, which is really nice because now they have a weather camera here, so we can get weather out here now, which is pretty cool. At all times, even if they're not out here. So here's a house under construction. You can see what's underneath for all the rafters and stuff. And then a little bit closer up of what they're using for the grass. So just right on this corner, I'm going to show you guys their church building. I think it was built back in the 80s actually by, I think, Nazarenes or maybe Catholics. I'm not 100% sure, but then they no longer work out here, so. All right, there you go, guys. Just an open framed building just so it doesn't get too hot inside. All right, so this is one of their gardens that they have just started preparing, and if you're wondering what this is sweet potato, what they call here cow. And they put these different terraces in here because it does rain quite a bit here, and that way the water can run off and they don't get too much water. Got random chickens running around. And they don't need me yet for any interviews yet, so I'm gonna run on down to the schools just so you guys can see a brief look at that. I've walked around the school before, a lot more in depth, talked to some teachers and the headmaster out here a few years ago. Have those type of videos on my Patreon page, so if you're interested in seeing more of this kind of content, check that out. A link down below. Okay, so they've got a few different school buildings here, and they actually have some kids that are not even from this area that come here and live here in the dormitories for like the semester before heading back. Usually mainly just high schoolers and stuff like that. I know at some other locations, some lower grades do as well, and they might stay with an aunt or an uncle or something like that. But I'll just ask some of these kids if the school goes through 1st through 12th. Morning, you pla. Grade school blow you start lo grade 1 y go lo grade 12 or grade 8, huh? Okay. So it's just 1st grade through 8th grade here. And then here is their soccer field. A lot of times they have volleyball as well. It looks like maybe over there they might have a volleyball court. And then all those are just probably little porta potties and stuff. I always like walking down to the end of the runway so I can see where I've touched down. But man, look at this view. Wouldn't it be amazing to have this right outside of your house? Those mountains right over there, they go all the way up to, I think, 12,000 feet. We're at 5,000 right now, so man, what a view. Hey, morning, Yupla. Yupla all right, huh? Yupla making money, huh? Yupla got school today? Yes, huh?
Yes.
All right, they came down here to tell me that they need me up there, so let's back up to the top. All right, Josh just left in the helicopter. I think we got the footage we need. I think I'm gonna do a quick interview here and then jet on back to Goroka. Bye.